Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Get Active TV, Rise and Shine. And thank you very much for tuning in to Power to Zen. My name is Sam, and I'll be leading you through today's session. Now, if you're new to Power to Zen, this is a session that has been designed to help us develop physically and develop ourselves physically and mentally from Power to Zen. And today's focus of the session is to work on lower back and hip functions. So if you have lower back pain, sciatic nerve issues, this is totally the session for you. So follow me through and stay tuned throughout the whole entire show, all right? So what we need today is a stick and a stool, but the stool is optional. So let's just start off the stick to help us mobilize and activate the muscles functions. Okay, so first thing first, we're gonna go into hip hinge. So you're gonna place the bar or the stick by hip flexors, and if you're new to this, I've showed last week as well, raise your knee up, balance yourself, and then position the stick by your hip flexors where your pockets are, extend your hands out. Okay, get a full grip. Use this as a movement, as a standard of where you're going to grip the bar. You might end up be going wider or closer, but at least to start off with, you know that this is the position that you usually would go. Okay, and then from here, you're going to push your buttocks back, hinge over, press your body weight towards your heels, but your toes are still on the ground, and then come back up to a stand. We're going to go for 10. So push backwards, feel the stretch across your hamstrings. You might feel it across your lower back as well. It's normal. So breathe in and out all the way through. There's no definite way of breathing for here. What you really want to do is to make sure that you're constantly breathing. So your muscles relaxes themselves and don't go into a tense mode. Okay, so push back, feel the stretch across your hamstrings, and then come back up to a stand. Push it back, keep your chest up. You'll get a little bit more stretch across the hamstrings as well. And come back to a stand. As you're coming up to a stand, use your buttocks, pull your hamstrings together, bring yourself up tall. And then hinge back, and then forward. Let's try two more. Push back, stretch, and up. One more time. Push back, and stand. Okay? So if you hear me earlier, I mentioned that today's session is dedicated towards lower back issues and sciatic nerve issues. If you don't have them, fantastic. Keep it that way. If you do have them, try all this movement. It might be helpful. We're going to try standing hip rotation. So standing tall, use the stick to stabilize and support yourself. Rotate your knee outwards. Draw a very big question mark. Okay, so your knee go outwards, in, and then you can bring it back down. Draw inwards, out, come back in, and down. So it's a very big circle or question mark. You can try 5 to 10 on each side. Go nice and slow. Try to keep your body square to the front. Okay, we always say square to the front. The square basically means your shoulder as well as your hips. In and out, rotate, and then down. If you find that there's some clicking or restrictions in the hip socket, it's not quite normal, but it's very common. So all you need to do is continue to practice mobilization or movement, and you usually will get better. Okay, we switch side. Now, of course, you can change directions as well. Okay, but for a start today, we're just going to go outwards. And along the way, if you have any questions about these movements, just feel free to comment, and we'll try to reply to you as quickly as we can. Okay, stabilize yourself, draw your knee inwards, outwards, and then lower it back down. Nice and slow. Okay. Now, next movement that we're going to go into, it's a curl. It's a spinal curl. Okay, in the training world, we call it Jefferson curl, but over here, just a spinal curl. So from here, you're going to use the pipe or use the bar as alignment. Draw your chin down towards your chest. Round your neck first. And then you're going to round your upper back or upper shoulders. Chin still continue to be down. Use the bar to help you align your posture so you don't end up going forward. As you draw the bar downwards towards your shoe or your feet, feel the stretch across your lower back, and then coming back up. You might feel it across your hamstring as well, depending on where it's tight. Okay, so going down, chin in, articulate your spine, and then reverse it, come back up to a stand. If you have resistance bands at home, you can step on it. Give yourself some form of resistance as a feedback. So movement practice, doesn't have to be strong, but sometimes having some resistance on allows you to gather more feedback from the muscular response. Okay, going down, chin in, spinal curl, and then coming back up. We'll try 2 more. Chin in, shoulders round, going down, reach forward, stretch, and then coming up. The slower you can do it, the better. So chin in, shoulders round, last one already. Going down, and coming back up. Again, you don't have to focus on like when to breathe in, when to breathe out. As long as you're constantly breathing, that's good enough. Okay? Now, next one we're gonna do, it's kind of like a continuation. Again, extend arms out, hold on to the bar, push your buttocks back, and then go down to a squat, unsquat, and then come back to a stand. So hinge, squat, unsquat, and stand. Hinge, and squat, unsquat, and stand. Option, you can place the bar on your shoulder as well. Hinge, squat, straighten your knees up first, and then return your body back to a standing position. Hinge, from your hips, only the hip joint is moving, so try to keep your legs straight and back straight. Go down to a squat, straighten your knees out, and stand. Okay? We try last 2. So the point of reference over here is that you want to keep your back nice and straight. Hinge over, squat, straighten your knees out, and stand. Okay, we repeat the whole entire set 1 more time very quickly. Okay, so again 10 reps each, but I'm just going to move a little bit faster. You don't have to complete all 10, but I just want you to be moving, that's all. Okay, so again, hands out wide, hinge over. And so this one is just really for you to focus on moving the hip joints. Push the bar into your pockets. Okay, make sure you're pushing, and then come back up to a stand. So that kind of gives you a feedback of whether or not you're using a hip joint effectively. Push back, stretch, and stand. If you can feel the hamstring stretch or even the inner thighs stretching out, that's really good. But again, some of you might be very flexible, so you don't feel a lot of those stretch. It's okay. This is just kind of like a warm-up or activation, that's all. Last 3. And up. Last 2. And last 1. Okay, now going back to standing, rotation. Again, if you hear clicking or you feel that there's restriction, it's quite common because we don't use the joint as effectively as we used to be, or especially if you've been sitting around all day long. So do that frequently. Options, you can do it sitting. You can do that on your fours in a kneeling position as well. Okay, I'm going to switch side. So have the stick at home handy because it allows us to balance ourselves. So over here, I'm not focusing so much on balancing, but on the other hand, moving my hip joint and getting its function in. The wider, the bigger the movement, the better. So it doesn't have to be fast. Okay. Now, then the third movement is the curl. So you're going to bring your chin in, round your spine, going down, and then reverse the movement. So chin in first, and it's important because if the chin don't go in, as you round forward, when your chin goes out, then the top spine, the upper part of your spine or your back will arch the other way around. So you want your chin to go in instead, and then coming back up. And holding on to the stick, as I mentioned earlier, is effective for you to figure out where your balance is and where the position is. Once the bar goes out, then you kind of like lose your balance. So keep it in all the time. And then stand. So going down, chin in, round, round, round. And then uncurl yourself to bring yourself back up to a stand. Okay, last 2. And last 1. Okay, I mentioned your option earlier, you can use a resistant bands as well. Step on it, use it as a feedback, bring it, allow it to pull you down a little bit more. Okay, so we're gonna go into squat practice. So hinge, bend your knees, straighten your legs out, and stand. Hinge, bend your knees, and come back up to a stand. And I repeat the word hinge a lot because most of the time we tend to bend from our lower back, and that causes a lot of issues with the lower spine or the lower back muscles. So once we learn to hinge or utilize our hip socket a little bit more, and it's a very, very strong joint, it will help you to reduce the chances of injuries, strains, pain, and other movement issues. Okay, so hinge, squat, you can go down lower, go ahead, as long as your back is nice and straight, straighten your legs out, and then stand. Okay, so that's our mobility and movement functions activations for today. And if you just join us, today's class is focusing on lower back pain or sciatic nerve issues. So if you do have them, or if you have friends who has them, refer them to kind of watch this video. It'll be pretty helpful. Okay, now we're gonna go into a quick routine. Okay, so there will be 2 power circuits today. The first power circuit, it's a short one as well. It's just 2 rounds, 10 reps each. We're going to start off with rear foot elevated lunges. Now, if you're familiar with this and you've watched this before, I'm taking 2 steps forward from the stool. So you need a stool, take 2 steps, 1 and 2. Okay, and then from there, place your toe on the top of the platform, lower your knee down. Okay, now this is an exercise, movement, strengthening, conditioning, but also use it as a stretch. So as I'm lowering myself down, I'm feeling it on my right pocket. So going down, low, 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 and then up. You want to be able to bring your knee as close to the ground as possible, depending on the height of the stool. If the stool is high, then you might not, like in my case, be able to bring your knee down to a contact. It's fine. Okay, so just going down and up. All right, switch side. Let's try this again. Okay, you're gonna take 2 steps, 1 and 2. Bring your toe up. Keep your body nice and upright. Shoulders square to the front again. Lower your knee down and up. Feel the stretch across your hip flexors, your quads. Going down and up, down and up. Now I mentioned before as well, like power is very subjective to individuals. So for some, power means 1 split second. For the others, power could mean 2 seconds. So it's very subjective to individual, depending on the strength and the agility and the coordination and the balance and the control that you have. So the more balanced and control you are, the better able are you to create speed. Then that's what power is all about. All right, now we're gonna go into a plank drop. So you're gonna go down to an elbow plank position. Okay, once you're in elbow plank position, a plank drop basically means that I'm going to lower my pocket down to the ground and back up. Pocket down to the ground and back up, down and up, down and up. So there's a little bit of a rotation and a drop at the same time. So going down, drop, and raise your buttocks back up. Going down and then back up. So what we're trying to do over here is awaken the hip flexors muscles and working on the core at the same time. And up. Make sure you're breathing, breathe in and breathe out, in and out. Okay, so that's done. Okay, now next one that we're going to do is a high plank lunge. So we all know what lunges is, I just showed earlier, but in this case, you're going to go into a high lunge position. Take a big step forward. If you can, drop your back knee down. If not, it's fine. Okay, and then step back. Step forward and back. Forward and back. So you might notice that I'm doing a little bit of a pauses here as well. So after I step forward, drop my hips down a little bit. Feel the stretch across the flexors, the abs, and then step back. Forward and back. Now take the opportunity that when your foot or when your leg is in front, you can also be driving your knee outwards, so your hips can drop down a little bit more. And back. Last 2 on each side. Try to maintain the position of your shoulder over your wrist. Okay, so one round done. Simple circuit. We have one more round to go. This time around, we're going to go through with a little bit more control, a little bit more explosive power at the same time. Okay, I'm going to show you how you could use the stick as well. So again, 2 steps forward, toe is up. I'm going to use the stick to stabilize myself so I can focus on stretching and creating power at the same time. Okay, so lower your knee down and pop it up. Going down 2 and pop up. Going down 3 and pop up. So as you're raising your body up, focus on using your back foot to drive. So my toe is pushing down on the stool to allow myself to get back up into position. So don't only be using your front foot to push, make sure your back foot is working at the same time. Last 2 and last 1. Okay, if it's burning or tight, just stretch it out. It's okay. Okay, switch side. Toe is up. Again, holding on to the stick. Stabilize yourself. Lower your knee down. Stretch and hold. And push upwards. Fast. And 2. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. 4. So it's kind of like exertion, exhale. As you exert power, or as you create power, just exhale. Push it out. Last 2 and last 1. Okay. Now last 2 movements. We're gonna go back into the plank drop. So let's put this here. Go into elbow. Go into elbow position. Drop your hips down and up. Down and up. Okay. It doesn't have to be vertically down. A little bit of a rotation, it's fine. You just want to make sure that you can feel the loading across your hip flexors where your pockets are. Last 2 on each side. And last 1. Okay, easy and simple one. Alright, last one. Plank lunge. Just gonna put this away. High lunge, high plank position, shoulders over wrist, big step forward and step back. Big step forward and back. Big step forward, stretch and back. Okay, if you're feeling good, go ahead, go a little bit faster. If not, go through nice and slow. Stretch the hip flexors out. Mobilize the lower back. Get a pelvic or your hips working. Okay, last 2 on each side after this. Last 1. Okay, and done. So quick recap, we've gone through some muscle activation, movement, went through a quick short workout circuit. Now, after a quick short break, I've got one more circuit for you, and then we're gonna go into the Zen practice. So I'll see you guys in a while. Hi, welcome back. All right, now we've just done a lower body circuit, a quick one. Now we're gonna go into an upper body movement circuit. Okay, so again, the whole idea is that to be able to use our strength as much as possible and turn it into power, and power equals to strength and speed. Okay, so now today's movement, a quick 2 to 3 rounds, ideally 3 rounds, 10 reps each. We're gonna start with push-ups first. Okay, so going to push-up, option, rest your knee down onto the ground. Okay, or you can pop your knees up, it is fine. Okay, going down, I want to push off as hard as you can. And going down, push off as hard as you can. And up 3, follow my tempo if you can. 4, push up fast, going down. You want to rest at the bottom, you can do that. 5, 6, 7, give your chest a good squeeze. And going down, and up 8, up 9, and up 10. Okay, so just 10 reps. Now, if you have a sofa, which I believe you have, if not a chair, will do just as well, or a stool. Hold on to the side, make sure it's nice and stable. Bring your hips forward, or bring your buttocks forward. Keep your lower back as close to the bench as possible. Lower your body down, and then push up. So you notice that my spine is super close to the stool. My spine here is super close to the stool. Going down, but don't grind it, okay? And up. Going down 2, and up. 3, push up fast. 4, and push up fast. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so that's for your triceps. All right, next one of my favorite, going down to a pike push up. So to go into a pike, you must remember that we need to go into a nice tripod position. Okay, so we're not just lowering and head downwards, but we want to hinge it forward. So once you place your arms on the ground, shoulders over your wrist, elbow is always on top of your wrist. We're gonna start off with knees on the ground first. So from here, with knees on the ground, lower head downwards, forward and up, forward and up. 3, 4, 5, 6, hit downwards and up. 7, I think. 8, 9, back straight, and 10. Okay, so today's movement, you notice that I'm emphasizing a little bit more on the push off and push off as hard as you can. So 3 movements, we're gonna got 2 more rounds to go. So again, hands is on the ground. Okay, now if you can get your knees off, do that. If not, you can rest your knees down onto the ground. Go down and push off fast. 2, 3, or knees off. 4, push off fast. 5, 6, squeeze your chest, round your shoulders. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so every time you push out, you're gonna make sure that your shoulder rounds in, and then you're engaging the chest muscles as much as you can. Now, get back onto the chair, stool, or sofa. Hold on to the edge. Make sure you're nice and stable. Slide your spine down, and push up. 2, push up fast. 3, 4, 5, down slow. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so go down slow, control, especially when we're at home. Use your body, we've only got our body weight, so use your body weight wisely. Stretch, lengthen the muscles as much as you can. Pause it there, get the stretch in thoroughly, and then squeeze it, shorten the muscles. Okay, that will help us to develop more strength and condition it to be stronger at the same time. Okay, and we talk about muscular conditioning, it basically means get the muscles itself to be strong, okay, and not just being able to produce power, that's all. All right, now go back to pike push-up. Quick recap, hands down, where your middle finger is, where your elbow is where you position your palms. Knees on the ground, earlier set, but this time round, knees off, okay? If you need your knees on, just go ahead. Okay, lower your head down and push up fast. Make sure elbows always on top of the wrist. Elbows on top of the wrist and push. 3, 4, 5, 6, breathe in and out. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so nice and slow. Make sure you can feel the triceps, especially the shoulder. The pike push-up, it's about getting the shoulder to be super strong and positioning itself to protect the neck. Okay? Round 2 is done. We're going to go into round 3. This time around, we're going to go even slower, more control, and more power at the same time. Okay? So, again, hands down. Back to basics. Simple push-ups. Lower your chest down. Touch the ground. Okay, it's not resting, but let it touch. Knees are off and push off fast. And going down 2, control, touch your chest on the ground, still engaging the ground, and press. Going down 3 and push off. Breathe in, touch, and push off. 4. Breathe in, going down slow, hold, and push. 5, 6, breathe in and push. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so as you push off, don't just be focusing on locking your elbows out. Make sure you're pushing through, shortening the chest muscle, shortening the shoulder muscles at the same time. Okay, so next movement, gonna go back to dips. Again, hands on the side. Slow movement once again. If this is getting tiring, bring your feet a little bit closer. If not, keep it out. You might even want to raise your one leg up just to challenge your balancing. Okay, from here, lower it down, stretch, and push off. 1. Going down, stretch, and push off. 2, 3, breathe in nice and slow. 4, keep your chest up, shoulders up. 5, 5 more to go. 6, going down. 7, stretch. 8, stretch. 9, stretch. 10. Okay, stretch it off a little bit. Raise your hand up, stretch your triceps. So once the arms up, use your head, push your elbows backwards. Okay, same thing for the other side as well. Hands behind, elbows up, use your head, push it back, and stretch. So one last movement for our 3-round circuit, then we'll see you back in a bit. Okay, we're gonna go back to pike. So we start off with knees on the ground, knees off the ground. So next one that we're gonna do is legs straight, buttocks as high as you can. So again, once you find your position, buttocks as high as you can. You can straddle your feet out just to have a little bit more balance. Lower your head down and push off fast. Going down 2 and up, push off fast. Going down 3, stretch and push. 4, 5, 6, 7, so back is straight. 8, 9, and 10. Okay, shake it off a little bit. Swing your arms. So, if you just tune in, this is a Power to Zen class. If you have any questions about the movement that we're doing today, just feel free to comment and we'll reply back to you. And if you have low back pain, sciatic nerve issues, stay tuned because the next segment, I'm going to be showing you some of the stretches that's pretty useful for sciatic or lower back pain issues. Okay, one more stretch, hands up, stretch your triceps out. So once your arms goes up, use your head, push back, stretch your triceps, and then down onto the other side. Hands up, push your head back, stretch, and then down to the other side. So we're gonna go into a quick short break. I'll see you back shortly. You will need maybe 2 face towel, just a mat. That's it. Okay, see you back shortly. Hey, welcome back to Get Active TV, Rise and Shine, and this is the Power to Zen class. I am going to be running through some Zen movement practice. This is not yoga, this is stretch, and in my world, we call it mobility practice. Now, before we go into mobility practice, we also want to, very much like many other movement practices as well, or training practices as well, we want to learn to breathe first. Breathing is the connector from our mind through to our bodies, our joints, our muscle groups. So learn to breathe well and performance will usually improve from there. Now, the breathing that I'm going to introduce to you is called box breathing. So there are 4 portions altogether. The first portion is inhaling, and then holding, exhaling, and then holding. We're just going to be practicing a few sets. Now each segment, I'd like you to take note, it's a 4-count movement or 4-count practice, 4 seconds. So 4 seconds breathing in, holding, 4 seconds breathing out, and then 4 seconds holding as well. Let's try 2 or 3 sets together. So make sure you find a nice comfortable position. You can be standing, sitting, kneeling, anywhere. Okay, just focus on the breathing. So as you breathe in slow. 4, 3, 2, 1, holding. 3, 2, 1, and then exhaling. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then hold your breath there for 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's try 2 more sets. As you breathe in, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it there for 4. Hold your breath. 3. Hold your breath. 2. Hold your breath. 1. And then now exhale nice and slow. Make use of all 4 seconds. Make use of 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And then holding it there once again for 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. 1 more set to go. Okay, now as you breathe in and you're more familiar with the timing already, I'd like you to focus on lifting your shoulders up as high as you can and filling out your stomach, like breathe outwards. So breathing in, 4, 3, 2, 1, holding it there. So you notice that my rib cage expands and my stomach goes up and out as well. So you want to keep the stomachs as big as you can. Holding it there, 3, 2, 1, and then exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. So rib cage close in, diaphragm goes up, stomach close in at the same time. And then holding it there for 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, the usual cycle is about 5 to 8 sets in one set, and then try to practice that for 2 to 3 sets as well. It will take you about 2 to 3, even up to 5 minutes for you to generate the whole entire movement breathing practice. Okay, and that should allow you to warm up your lungs and warm up the connection between your mind, your body, your joints, and your muscles at the same time. Okay, so the more you practice, the more you'll be able to control and enjoy the breathing process. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna go into mobility practice. Okay, you don't need your shoes on, but if you want to, go ahead. Keep them on as well. But since this is the Zen portion, I'd like you to be as comfortable as possible. All right. Now in the mobility practice, I talked a lot about testing and retesting, and the testing portion that we're gonna go through is the before process of the stretch, and after the stretch, we're gonna do a retest. Okay. So today's focus is on lower back pain as well as potential sciatic nerve issues. Okay, if you don't have them, great, keep it that way. If you do have them, go through this movement nice and slow. All right. So the first movement test that we're gonna do is a quick hamstring test. Okay, go into a lying down position. All right. All you need to do is lift your legs up and down. Lift your legs up and down. Okay, feel the weight of your legs. Okay, and instead of using your hip flexors and your quads to pull your legs up, try to be able to feel your buttocks and your hamstring trying to lift your legs up as well. Okay, now if you can feel it already, then we're gonna go into the stretch mode. All right. Now, unlike the usual hamstring stretch, the first one that we're gonna do is a hamstring stretch. Okay, where we lean forward with our legs straight. Okay, what I'd like you to do is keep your knees bent first and then hold on to your toes. If you can't reach your toes or the base of your foot or your feet, just hold on to your ankles. Okay, so I'm going to start off from here. And then you're going to walk your buttocks back until your legs straighten out. Okay, holding it there. Usually we'll hold it there for 2 to 3 minutes, but today we're going to hold it there for about 30 to 45 seconds. Now, as you hinge forward, or as you're leaning forward, try to be able to tuck your tailbone backwards as well. So that's the reason why a lot of time when we say forward bending, don't just try to force your body down. Okay, you might end up injuring your pelvic or hip sockets as well. So try to neutralize the pelvic position, still holding on. Feel the stretch across your hamstrings. If you can, walk your buttocks back even more. Lean your body weight forward, and tuck your tailbone in, so that you create a little bit more opening and more stretch across your hamstrings at the same time. Okay, now return the movement back by walking your buttocks forward. Okay, now we're going to try on one side. So you're going to tuck one leg in. Okay, holding on to the base of your foot or your ankle. Same thing, you're going to walk your buttocks backwards. Now with a single side, again, you're going to hold it there for 2 to 3 minutes. But for today, about 30 to 45 seconds. Again, feel the stretch across your hamstrings. Keep your tailbone tucked in. Round your lower back as much as you can to create a little bit more opening as well as the stretch across your hamstring. So don't force your chest downwards. Instead, focus on getting the pelvic in position to get that stretch more intensively. Okay. Now, we practiced the breathing earlier. The purpose of it is to create relaxation or natural relaxation across your body. So don't hold your breath for too long, but don't be breathing in short breath as well. So breathe in fully, hold, exhale fully. Okay, use that box breathing to your advantage. Now walk your buttocks forward and then return the stretch. I'm going to try on the other side as well. Okay, so tuck one leg in. Any position is fine. If you find that this position is still quite uncomfortable, then just prop towel underneath your buttocks. Get your buttocks up a little bit higher. Movement should be a lot easier as well. So again, bend your knees, hold on to the base of your foot, walk your buttocks back nice and slow. Once you're in position, tuck your tailbone in. Okay, create a little bit more opening for your hip joint. Try to keep your legs straight, your knees downwards towards the ground. Okay, and for some of you, super flexible, what you can do is as you press your knee downwards, your calf goes down into the ground and your heels comes off. So you notice my heels comes off the ground, but my leg is straight, my calf is on the ground. Okay, works for some, doesn't work for others. Okay, so just do what you can, listen to your body and understand what your body can function with. Okay, now the sciatic nerve or the lower back issue usually gets affected by tight hamstring, tight glutes, tight lower back muscles. So therefore it's super important for you to stretch your hamstrings out, stretch your glutes out, or stretch your buttocks out, and to release the sore, the tight, the inflamed muscles. Okay? Now I mentioned test and retest. So after you stretch your hamstring out, you should find that it's nice and loose. Okay? If it helps, you're gonna go back down to your lying down position and then test it. Now this time around, as you lift your legs up and down, try it on both sides. See if it is lighter. See if you feel that your legs are feeling a lot lighter. Okay? If a stretch is useful, do it and do it super regularly. If the stretch is not useful, then don't waste your time. Just move on. But don't forget to bring yourself back to try the stretch once again, because you never know that one day that particular muscles might get tightened up again. Alright, so now next one, it's a movement combo. If you're familiar with the pigeon, we're going to go into a pigeon pose. Alright, now the focus for today's pigeon pose isn't just about the glutes, okay? It's also about the hip flexors. So once you're in a pigeon pose, alright, with your leg forward, I'm going to turn myself. Okay, try to get your body square to the front once again. Your shoulder is facing forward, your head, it's kind of like facing forward at the same time. Okay, your front leg is in front of you. Try to raise it up as high, as far forward as you can. Okay, and then pull the back leg up and then just hold it there. You want to get the stretch across the pockets. Okay, in my case, the pockets of my right leg. Okay, and then again, holding it there. Okay, try to breathe through once again. If you can feel the stretch more intensive, if you can't feel the stretch, you can intensify the stretch by pulling your heels closer to your buttocks. Okay, now this is a combination stretch. So I'm trying to get my left buttocks and hamstring stretched and my right hip flexors stretched out at the same time. Okay, holding it for 30 to 45 seconds for today. And if you can do it at home while you're practicing at home, try to hold it there for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, because 2 to 3 minutes should allow the muscle to go into a relaxation mode. Okay, now I forgot to share with you the testing earlier. So the testing for this is a seated leg lift. Okay, so in a seated leg lift position, it's a little bit harder for you to get the hamstring to be up. Okay, so you find that if it's feeling a little bit lighter on the pockets side, and that's what we want to achieve. Switch over to the other side. So the front foot in the pigeon position, body is square to the front. Okay, so I'm going to raise my left leg upwards and then hold it there. Okay, now once you're in this position, practice your breathing. If you remember, or if you can try the box breathing that we tried earlier, do that. If not, any breathing is fine as well. Okay, I like to focus on one thing at a time and be really good in it. And in this case, we're trying to stretch the hip flexors out, the pockets, and balancing. The breathing is here to allow you to relax a little bit more. So just breathe in and out. If you can hold your breath after breathing in, hold your breath after breathing out, that will work just as well. So I placed the stick on the side because I just want to show you that if you need some support, just grab a stool, use the sofa, use your couch, use your chair, use the table, anything that allows you to balance yourself, and then focus on the stretch. Okay, pull your knees, pull your heels towards your buttocks a little bit more as you continue to stretch. So the position where you begin may not be the position where you end. As the muscles relaxes itself or the joints opens up, allows you to intensify or increase the range of motion a little bit more. Okay, and then return. Okay, so again, go back to retesting mode. So I'm going to put my hands behind, raise my leg up, and see whether the flexus releases itself. Now, if you're familiar with the sciatic issues or lower back issues, you'll understand what I mean by getting these areas stretched out will allow you to reduce the pain and the symptoms, especially the case where the sciatic nerve goes from the back of your spine all the way to your thighs. So by getting your flexors stretched out, it's going to be super helpful and very comforting, comforting and relieving at the same time. All right. Now I deliberately rested a little bit more because this next one is going to be quite fun. Okay, so stay with me. Okay, I call it a frog stretch. Okay, you're going to start off from a standing position first. Okay, now from a standing position, stretch your feet out just a little bit more. Then you're going to rest your knee down onto the ground. Now at this point, if you've got knee issues, just be mindful. You can use yoga blocks, you can use towel, very thick towels as well. Place it under the knees. Okay, the pressure should not be on the knees in a while. Now once you're in this position, go as wide as you can, as your knees will allow you to. And the point to take note over here is that you notice the back of my foot is parallel to one another. Okay, and my toes are pointing outwards. So this is my frog pose. Now from here, I want you to walk your hands forward a little bit and then put your body weight forward to your hands and then sit back. So you're going to be rocking forward and backwards, forward and backwards. Now our hip joint, like all or most muscle groups, are multi-dimensional. So it's not just front and back. And often than not, we focus on the front and the back, or the sides, the inside and the outside, without focusing on the rotations or a wider or complex range of motion or position where it's dual angle, the in and the out, or front back together with the left and the right. So this allows you to work on the inside, the front and the back at the same time. Okay, going to this movement again for 2 to 3 minutes, but today we'll not be going for that long, but I just want you to understand the movement and then try it. I hope you're trying it already. And the point to take note over here is this. You notice that my body weight is largely on my hands. Okay, and then as I bring my body to forward, I want to scoop my tailbone in to get a little bit more stretch across my inner thighs. And then as I sit back, again, still controlling, keeping my stomach in nice and tight. So we'll try 5 more. Forward. Keep the tailbone tucked in, abs nice and tight, belly button is in. And then sit back. And then 2. And then sit back. And 3. And then sit back. 4. Tailbone's tucked in, belly button's in, and then back, and then forward, and then back. Okay? Alright, return. So gentle reminder, again, you need to stretch a little bit more. So once you're done with the stretch, go into squat position and feel how your hip socket feels like. Okay? It's a lot looser. Does it allow you to drop your knees in and then bring it back up? Okay, the frog stretch is a very good hip opener, but a lot of time we're very hesitant about it because you might potentially be putting a lot of weight on the knee joint while you're in a kneeling position. So use your towel or use the yoga blocks or anything that's elevated and soft and cushy, like your pillows as well, just to support it. Okay, now next one that we're going to go into is a windshield wiper. Okay, so we've worked a lot on the hip joints, so we're going to go upwards to our lower back to give it some love. Okay, now there are 2 versions of the windshield wipers that I'd like to share with you. The first one is with your feet down onto the ground, lay back down. Okay, now what's really important over here is make sure that you are in a very nice position or alignment. Okay, you don't want to be tilted in this at the starting position, the setup position. Set your shoulders back. Hands could be on the side or can be on your stomach as well, just to feel for the rotation on your lower spine. Okay, and then from here, we're going to drop our knees to the side as far as you can go. And then coming back up. Drop your knees to the side as far as you can go. And then prop it back up. So going down, feel the stretch across your lower back and up. Again, don't try to force
your knee downwards, because as you do that, your body will just go into rotation, and that defeats the purpose. So keep your shoulder blades stuck to the ground, and then from here, bring your knees to the side as far as you can. And if you hear a pop on your lower back, it's quite common or quite normal. Okay, if you don't, it's fine. Okay, so my weight is on my hip right now, on my hip bone right now. And notice my knee is not resting onto the ground. I'm just going as far as my body allows me to, and then come back up. So try that again for 2 to 3 minutes. But today we're just going to do about 10, 12 reps. Okay, side to side. So this is a baby version. Okay, but the whole idea is that nothing is baby if you get a good control or good stretch out of it. Okay, anything progressive works the same way. It's just that if you don't happen to stretch or feel the stretch, or if you're very flexible, the progression starts to come in. So this is a little bit different from the typical strength and conditioning training where we want to go faster, harder, heavier, longer. A stretch is a stretch. So long as you get the range of motion in, breathe, that's what we want to achieve. Okay, and develop that mindfulness. Okay, last two on each side, or last one on each side, 1, 1, and then we're going to move on to a progression state. Again, shoulders back, breathe. Feel the stretch across your lower back. And then come back up. Okay? Now, the test or the retest over here is that feel if you have extended function. So after holding it there for so long, you can come back to a seated position, rotate your body out, and feel if it is lighter or looser. Okay, so we're going to go into the progression. Okay, so the windshield wiper progression, if the earlier one is easy for you, this time around, you're going to put your hands on the side, stuck your hands on the ground, shoulder blades on the ground as well. You're going to lower your knees down the same way, but don't allow your shoulder to pop up. Keep it down all the time. You'll find that your core, your obliques starts to work. Okay, but more importantly, it should intensify the stretch. And then back up. Going down. Go back to the box breathing. Breathing in nice and slow for 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding it for 4, 3, 2, 1. And then exhale. Return it back. And then breathe in again. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it there for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale and slowly bring it back. Okay, going back down onto the other side. Again, make sure your hands on the ground, shoulders on the ground. Feel for the stretch. If you're super flexible, or if you're very flexible, or just flexible, okay, go ahead and lower your knees all the way down to the ground. So long as your shoulder is still in contact, your hands are still in contact. Okay, and then come back up. One last on each side. Knees down. Holding it there. 3, 2, 1. Coming back up. And then onto the other side as well. For 4, 3, 2, 1. And then coming back. Okay. Again, test and retest. Once you're seated up, check your range of motion and see if your lower back, your spine is loosened up. Okay, I've got one last movement for you. This is also a fun one. So again, if you have a towel, the face towel that I mentioned earlier with you will be useful. If not, it was okay. Alright, I call this a 90-90. And place your hands behind. Okay, this is just more of a support and anchor as well. Okay, and then from here, you're going to bring your knees in, bend your knees, your feet down onto the ground. You're going to lower your knees to the side. So my left knee or my left foot is in a 90-degree bend, and my right knee is also in a 90-degree bend. Holding it there, and then switch on over to the other side. Okay, so this is the movement. We're going to start now. Okay, so we're going to try about 5 to 6 reps on each side. Each side that you go into, if you're doing it at home in future, you can kind of like again hold it there for the 2 to 3 minutes before you move on. But for today, maybe about 20-30 seconds, I'm going to switch over to the other side. Now the key thing over here is that we're not just rotating our spine, we are also working on the hip rotators position as well. So my right foot is into an internal rotation and my left is into an external rotation, and then go on to switch over to the other side. Okay, so make sure you try to press your knee downwards. Both knees goes down. Try to get your buttocks down, seated. And then switch side. And switch side. And switch side. Okay, I'm moving a little bit faster because I believe that you probably won't be doing any more of the stretches or similar stretches for today. But just take note of what I said earlier. In future, when you're practicing this on your own, hold it there for the 2 to 3 minutes per side. Okay? Now, and to advance the stretch, it basically means that you're not using your hands anymore. Get yourself seated and stay there. Try to find a comfortable position. Okay, so you can recap the whole entire video while watching this next time. Okay, and then switch on over to the other side. Okay, I'm going to do one last one on each side. Try seated once. So try to have your buttocks seated down to the ground. If you find that you're kind of like in this position, then go back to your hands. Okay, use your hands to support you. And then switch on over to the other side as well. Okay, so my butt is on the ground, body is upright. Okay. Now, the test and retest over here is because we're working on the internal and external rotation, move it around a little bit and feel for whether it's lighter. Now, just bear in mind that all these stretches are meant to be useful, but if at any point in time you feel any discomfort or unnecessary pain, stop. Consult a fitness professional or a doctor or physician and get professional advice from there on. Okay? Now, I hope you enjoyed today's Power to Zen practice. Remember, Power to Zen practice is designed to help us develop physical and mental strength and conditioning from power to Zen mode. So if you enjoy today's session, just go back to our video library and check out the other sessions that we've done before. Okay, I hope you have a good midweek, and I'll see you guys next week. Take care.